It has been right under our nose the entire time, and we've missed it. We became so focused on the Fitzgerald, we didn't focus closely enough on the ACX Crystal. I wonder if the folks at Vessel Finder were trying to send us a hidden message and we missed it. However, with dedication and diligence and the help of the contributors to this channel, we've uncovered it. This is Savvy.com. This was a place the channel went many months ago, right after the issue with the Fitz. And they had information about the goings on aboard the ACX Crystal post-collision over on the other side of Oshima Island. We showed that to correlate with submarine cables, like we did in the 6 other occasions with the Normandy, the Lake Champlain, the Statham, the McCain, all of them. Now, the Hopper. Looking through this, something jumped out at me in point 4. It appears the collision occurred at 1628 UTC. Now, you wouldn't think that would have been a big deal at the time, and it wasn't because we didn't have the report from the Navy. But the difference between 1628 UTC and 1630 and 34 seconds UTC is a big deal, and I'll show you why. Now, I need you folks to sit down and stop what you're doing and stay with me on this, because it's going to get weedy, but the evidence is irrefutable. Now, we have seen this track of the ACX Crystal in our dreams, watching it so much. But what I did today was, instead of letting it play at normal speed, I slowed it all the way down to 1/4, which you can do over here in your settings. You can click here and click speed, and it gives you all these different speed settings. You know, double speed. So I clicked 1/4 to watch it slowly. Now, this is 1617 GMT, which correlates to 0117 in the morning the next day. Japan being 9 hours ahead of UTC, just for those of you who are new. Now, here we see it on almost a course of 90 degrees, moving at about 18 knots. I do apologize for the blur, but that's the blur you're seeing is the blur I'm seeing. So we are going to go ahead and play this forward, and I'm going to show you something. Do you see the time? How it updates in 5-second intervals? It's always a 7 or a 2, updating in 5-second intervals. Okay, now that doesn't seem like a big thing, but it is. It's the key. Here we have the MC Olnik. This is the collision with the McCain. Watch this. It updates in 10-second intervals. What does this tell us? It tells us that we have 2 different kinds of transponders. The ACX Crystal was using a different one than the MC Olnik. That alone is not a big deal. Here's where it becomes a giant deal. This is arundale.com. arundale.com/docs, AIS reporting. There's your link if you want it. Now, the only place I found any type of transponder that updates in 5-second intervals would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 down over here. So we go over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Class B SO, Class B SO, Class B SO, Class B SO. Class B SO shipborne mobile equipment moving at greater than 23 knots. Was the ACX Crystal moving greater than 23 knots? Nope, it sure wasn't. I honestly think that the transponder that they were spoofing was aboard a different ship. It was aboard something that could move faster than 23 knots. Now, who was it recently that had been accused multiple times of spoofing GPSs and spoofing ship locations. You can look up through here. Nowhere does 5 seconds appear other than there. 10 seconds, it appears a couple of different places. A dynamic Class A transponder moving 0 to 14 knots updates on the 10-second. Okay, at anchor or moored moving faster than 3 knots, it also updates on the 10-second. Okay, whether it's changing course or not. So, if you think this is strange, watch this. We see the ACX Crystal, allegedly now, the ACX Crystal. We're going to move up to the time of the collision. Okay, here's 1628, 1629. Now we have this slowed down, and of course I get lag when I do this. I don't know why. Okay, so here's 1630, as you can see here. 1630 and 12 seconds. No change in course. So this shoots out of the water for sure, this story about the captain attempting to avoid, or the collision. If the collision happened at 1628, as Savvy says, that captain never tried to avoid the crystal, not at all. Now, if we go forward to the time the Navy says it happened, plus 15 seconds, we do see this change in course, but it makes me believe that the Navy might be using this track to determine the time of collision, which would mean they have no electronic information of their own independently of this, which would mean the ship might have been fried, which means that we have a much bigger problem. Now, if this wasn't enough, watch this. Now, we have this position here, and we thought watching this, you know, that all the jumps around was just some fault of the data being transmitted. It's not. All right, 1630 and 47 seconds. Now, this is 15 seconds post-collision according to the Navy. Now, I'm going to jump the video up here. Now, we remember this. 1633 and 47 seconds. 3 minutes later, that's when the jump occurs from here to here. Strangely enough, Class B SO shipborne mobile equipment not moving faster than 2 knots reports on the 3 minute. Class B CS shipborne mobile equipment moving faster than 2 knots also reports on the 3 minutes. Let me say this correctly, I'm sorry. Class B CS shipborne mobile equipment not moving faster than 2 knots. So not moving faster than 2 knots reports on the 3 minutes. That is damning as hell. This other 3 minutes you see down here is aids to navigation, which is irrelevant here. I wish I could get all this in one shot, but you can look this up for yourself. Maybe you can see it there. It's kind of hard to correlate, but it changes. Post-collision time, the reporting data changes. The update rate changes. Now, here's where it gets really, really, really creepy. If you go all the way up here to this. Now, you folks remember this strange, and I do apologize for the lag here. I don't know why this happens when I run this slow. Because when I run at normal time, it doesn't happen. Okay, we are at 1744. This is 2:44 p.m. This is over an hour later. but I want you to see this. This is the most important part of the video, bar none. It sits here forever, aimed one direction. And I do have this slowed down to a quarter. I apologize, this is taking forever for this jump, but it is critical that you see this. Okay, there's the jump. All of a sudden, now it's on its track before, right? I want to show you something. The AIS data is now updating every 10 seconds. It has changed from the 5-second and 3-minute paradigm to 10-second updating. Folks, that only means one thing. They changed transponders. Because the only place you will find 10-second updating is up here with a dynamic Class A. At anchor or moored and moving faster than 3 knots. Not changing course or changing course, updates on the 10-second like we saw with the MCLNIC. Down here, search and rescue aircraft, update on the 10-second, and the AIS base station, updates on the 10-second. What does that tell us? That means if they didn't switch transponders, they switched from autonomous mode to assigned mode. Either way, the entire trip through here, they were fucking with the transponder. From the beginning, through the collision, all the way past the end. The ACX Crystal was up to something. We have evidence for there being 2 different transponders or them switching modes. Why would they? If they were just a normal hapless freighter out there just delivering their cargo and, oh no, we just happened to accidentally run into a destroyer. Caca. BS. You can check all this out for yourselves. The YouTube has these videos up for the MCLNIC and for the ACX Crystal. Go, slow it down to a quarter. Check my work. See if I'm wrong. I'm not. This continues to update on the 10-second as you play this forward. Prior to the collision, it was updating on the 5-second. There would have been no reason whatsoever for this ship to be monkeying with its transponder or changing transponders during this time. It goes from 5-second, collision, jumps to 3-minute, goes back to 5-second down here, but then when we see this really, really strange stop, and then all of a sudden it's facing the other way, moving a whole different speed, the transponder update rates change. I'm sorry, but I'm calling BS. I'm calling absolute BS. This was a weapon, and nobody wants anyone to know about it. That crew aboard the Fitzgerald was attacked. Those sailors that died have earned Purple Hearts. Every one of them. And the Navy doesn't want you to know. They would rather charge 2 innocent men with homicide, even though one was sleeping, only been aboard for 30 days. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Don't know what more to say, but thank you everyone for your help here at the investigation. I really appreciate it. We're going to continue down this road. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.